Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. Our first one comes from Throwaway669933. Am I the beehole for telling my mom to take her kid with her after yelling at me? Throwaway, because this is something I usually don't post on my account. I, a 30-year-old female, and my son slash significant other, 30-year-old male, have a son, a 7-year-old male. We'll call L. He has a best friend, J, 8-year-old male. They're extremely close. J's mom, T, 37-year-old female, is a single mom. L asked several times about J coming over, so I looked up T on FB and sent a message and asked to set up a play date for our sons. Man, now I understand why people put names whenever people put like letters, because that was tough to say. First few times was no problem. We'd host Jay usually Friday night, and the next morning L very rarely has been to Jay's house. The last few weeks, T has been coming by unannounced to drop off Jay off for one reason or another. She comes to pick him up the next day, rarely replying to my text about when she would be coming to get him. I'd like some warning beforehand, but that isn't the only issue. Sometimes it's hard getting a last minute babysitter with a schedule change. I get that. Jay will only eat certain foods from fast food restaurants, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, I'm not here to judge her for that. A fed kid is a happy kid. However, we are a vegetarian household. L isn't. We decided to wait until he's old enough to make the choice himself. We still only eat healthy in our house except for special occasions. But fast food trips a few times a week is getting really pricey. L has also been wanting it more and more himself, which isn't ideal for his diet on a regular basis. That, on top of our regular grocery bill, is a bit much. It's also making meal planning for the next week hectic, and making food waste and produce is going bad. So today, T comes by to drop off Jay, unannounced, saying she has to go to her mom's house. After the boys went inside, I tried to talk to her about Jay's eating habits. I asked if I could try feeding Jay dinner I made at home, and she could talk to him about trying new things, or she would mind pitching in a little money for his McDonald's order. She blew up. T started yelling at me that I'm mom shaming her, that she's a single mom, and if he's at my house, I should feed him. But you're bringing all right. That I think I'm better than her, etc. Honestly, it wasn't very coordinated. She was just yelling, and as much as I tried to take what she was saying in, I felt so upset by this. I told her she needs to leave and to take Jay with her. She would not speak to me that way. She said I was being unfair to the boys. Jay was looking forward to seeing Elle, and she couldn't take him to her mom's house because he'd be bored. I told her to go, and she can't drop off Jay unannounced anymore. T took Jay. Both he and Elle were very upset. I feel really bad for that aspect, but not for standing up for myself. I talked to my significant other about it. He says I have nothing to feel bad for. I talked to my best friend, and she says I should have just taken. No. Why is there always one person? Sorry, just taken him. If T hadn't blown up at me, I would not have told her to leave with Jay. She says that it doesn't matter if she did. Upsetting the boys was selfish, and I should have been the bigger person. Am I the beehole? Should I call and apologize? Okay, OP, you're not the beehole. Your significant other is correct, and your friend is an idiot and a doormat. That person was being very disrespectful to you and taking advantage of you, using you for free babysitting, and having you waste money on McDonald's. McDonald's is not cheap nowadays. While I don't go there a lot, I used to like their dollar chicken sandwiches, but the last time my sister bought a Big Mac, a soda, the meal, Big Mac, soda, fries, whatever. It came to like $15. You could have added like a dollar or two and got some sushi, which is much healthier and much more filling. So McDonald's is not worth it nowadays. So I can understand it chipping away at your money, and you're not just buying for him, you're buying for your son. And yeah, you don't want to get your kids hooked on that type of diet. Growing up, I'm very glad my mother was at home and cooked for us. That's why, I wasn't 600 pounds and dying of diabetes and all that. And yeah, she needs to weed it. Okay, so if you have to feed him that, whatever, not your kid, she needs to give you like 20-25 bucks, because like I said, that's not cheap. Yeah, she needs to give you gas too, because you got to go down to the McDonald's. OP, you were 100% not in the wrong, and I don't get your friend, oh, be the bigger person, just be a doormat and roll over and take it. No, 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 no. OP, you did the right thing. She was taking full advantage of you. And, oh, she can't take him with it because he's going to be bored? Who cares? Buy the kid a used DS or something. And then he can play games while he's at grandma's house. When I was a kid, my parents took us to boring things all the time. And all we had to do is suck it up. I remember those days where we had to do church stuff and we were excused to go to the car and watch The Simpsons on a black and white small TV in the car. We figured it out, all right? You figure out how not to be bored. And how are you selfish? OP, I would distance myself from that friend. I think you're being way too generous. And you're spending your money, wasting your gas, wasting your time, free babysitting because she doesn't want her child to be bored at his grandma's house. Okay, yeah, your friend is a putz. And she's being selfish, taking advantage of you, and oh, she blew up on you because he doesn't want to eat your food or you have to waste. Yeah, OP, not the beehole. And our next one comes from Kain Kun Zeit. Am I the beehole for letting my mom choose a restaurant without checking with my sister if her boyfriend can afford it? My sister Jen, a 28-year-old female, and I, a 27-year-old female, are from a lower middle class family. Our parents worked very hard to provide for us, so when we both graduated from university, same major and facility, we agreed that we'd take our parents to eat at a nice place monthly and take turns paying in addition to helping them with what we can. I met my husband Tom, a 33-year-old male, when I was in my last year of university. He is rich, an only child of two doctors, and he himself is a biomedical engineer, and he adores my parents. We married last year, engaged for 2 years before that, and since we've been engaged, Tom has been paying for our outings. He took my family to the nicest places, citing YOLO, and we always had the best times. Jen chose to do what she loved, and while her pay could have been better, she's never struggled financially. She was able to take the family out until last year when she decided to pursue a graduate degree, thus not earning. Tom's and I said we'd still have our monthly nice meal and we could just pay for everyone. Jen started seeing Rick, a 29-year-old male, 9 months ago. 5 months into our reception, Jen asked if we could bring Rick to our meal, and we said yes. Rick was working a similar job to Jen's, but in a more senior position. It so happened that my parents craved a certain type of food when Rick started to join us, so the restaurants we chose were not overly extravagant. Rick noticed how Tom and I always paid and said he would like to cover the bill next time. Everyone said, okay. My mom chose a nice restaurant for our last outing. My parents and Tom proceeded as usual, but I noticed Rick and Jen looking a little tense. When it was almost time to pay, Jen pulled me aside and asked if she could borrow some money. I told her I'd happily pay for the meal. Jen said it would make Rick look bad not to be able to pay when he said he would. I told Jen Rick could put everything on his credit card and I would send him the money later. Rick ended up doing that, and after we sent my parents back home, I asked Rick how much money he would like me to help him with. Rick said he did not expect to dine with such elites and it was classless of us to spend so much on one meal. Tom said if he couldn't afford the place, he just could have told us and we could have changed the place. Rick then accused Tom and me of calling him poor and beneath us. He said he'd rather go into debt than accept our help. I could tell Tom was mad, but he just took me home. Jen later called and told me that I was inconsiderate for not asking our mom to choose a less pricey restaurant. She said if Tom and I thought the restaurants we had been dining at for so far were normal priced, we were so out of touch with reality. She said Rick was also mad at her for making him lose face. Am I the beehole? I'm gonna say no, you're not the beehole, and I do feel kind of bad for the guy, cause yeah, I'm broke. I still remember that $22 I wasted on a square of fish that I could have used to buy a whole sushi roll and had some left over. But, it happens. But he was out of line saying, oh, elitist and all that, because you guys offered to give him the money. You even helped him save face with the parents by letting him pay and then waiting for them to go home and be like, hey, how much do you want? Personally, that kind of sucks too. Like, tell us how much you want us to give you. I think you guys should have just given him some or all of it, but he was being a jerk though at doing all that, throwing a tantrum and acting like that. Like, I get it, it sucks to be broke. I'm broke all the time too, and you feel like crap, especially when you're next to someone who's got it all together and can take him to fancy restaurants and a biomedical engineer and all that, and you don't have to worry about things. It sucks, but he shouldn't have went on like that. He should have just been like, especially when you guys said, hey, we'll pay for it, you guys can get the next one. You know what I mean? He had options. He had ways out of it, and he should have just been an adult and been like, hey, yeah, I thought it was going to be like the previous restaurants where I could cover that, but this is out of my price range. Thank you guys for covering it. I got the next one if we're at a normal restaurant. You know, just to remember for next time. But no, you guys aren't in the wrong. Um, about the heads up about the restaurant, I don't I don't think that would have crossed my mind either if it's something we do all the time about the price. So I don't know if I could fault you guys for that. But I'm gonna say you're not the beehole and he handled it poorly. You guys are handling it just fine though. And our final one comes from Odd Hedgehog 7819. Am I the beehole for not making my stepdaughter's mother the trustee and having strict restrictions? 3 years ago, I met my husband, who was finalizing his divorce. His ex wife, bitter about the divorce, blamed me and labeled me a homewrecker. Despite this, our blended family initially thrived, especially our kids. Annie, age 11, Sarah, age 11, and Ben, age 8. However, the ex wife actively worked to alienate Annie from us, leading to a traumatic incident last summer. Following that, my husband decided to give Annie a break, with the possibility of revisiting vacations in a year. Recently, I initiated a 1 million trust for each child to use to aid them in their first few years of life. First few years of life, I can get by for the rest of my life on a mill, and I named myself as trustee. When my husband shared the details with Anne's mother, she erupted in anger. She criticized the amount, saying it'd be a lot more with what I have. It's true, but that's not the point of the trust. Questioned why she wasn't why she wasn't okay, and objected to the imposed restrictions on the fund usage. Education, housing, only for the children living alone or rooming with peers, limited car expenses, and budgetary constraints for food, entertainment, travel, and groceries, etc., etc. She accused me of favoriting my biological kids, saying their trust was probably more. We told her they weren't, and they are all equally funded at 1 million, and insisted on the budget on being the trustee for her daughter's trust. No, and also demanding that the amount be increased to at least 5 million. Holy crap. Despite the ex-wife's demands, I refused to make her the trustee due to the lack of trust stemming from her attempts on harming my reputation, alienating Annie, and false reports to CBS and police claiming I was abusing my children. Her financial irresponsibility, evidenced by 2 bankruptcies, further fuels my reservations. While I may harbor some personal resentment, you should harbor all of it, due to her past actions, I believe my concerns are valid. Am I the beehole for not making her the trustee and having strict restrictions on how the funds can be used? ETA. She initiated the divorce, and I only met my hubby the month it was finalized. She was sleeping around, and despite that, hubby initially wanted to work on their marriage, but she said she wanted her freedom to let her freak flag fly. And all else who would truly know what happened do not understand her bitterness about the divorce. Oh, I could tell you about the bitterness. I might be wrong, who knows. But sounds like she wanted to have a hoe phase, had her hoe phase and went, oh crap, I need to secure my, self, and I let my good man go. And yeah, I'm mad that this woman who's out there killing it over here to drop millions and multiple kids and not even able to feel it is with my husband, and I am a heaping used up pile of garbage ghoul, because that's what she is. She's a garbage ghoul. You're doing the right thing. It sounds like you're not stupid, so I'm gonna say it. Do not give her any way to become a trustee or anything like that, because she wants you to lift the restrictions. Of course she's gonna go blow that money and waste it, and she doesn't care about her daughter. You know she's gonna go use it to do dumb crap and buy cars and multiple cars and burn down vacations and clothes. She's gonna waste it on dumb crap. I guess she's a crazy narcissist, because okay, she's trying to make your life hell. She's calling CPS on you, and she still has the gall to think that you would trust her enough to make her a trustee over a large sum of money like that. She is insane, OP. I am sorry you have to deal with that. And like you said, she initiated the divorce so she could go be a hoe. And now she wants to get mad about the divorce that she did? I mean, come on. Yeah, OP, don't give her one red cent. Don't give her any power. Um, yeah, she has her kids with her husband, so I guess that's going to be an annoying fight. You can't probably completely cut her out, but do everything you can to shut her down. And yeah, don't give her any trusty power. OP, not the beehole, and stay strong, because it sounds like you are dealing with a horrible ghoul. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe. It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.